mean, it seems like Elon Musk is free speech all the way.
And then we were invited to do the Twitter files in December last year, and I've been working on censorship issues ever since. We also discovered these disinformation campaigns, the disinformation campaigns around Hunter Biden's laptop.
You were on the forefront of the Twitter files, and so where do you kind of stand on censorship? And I mean, it seems like Elon Musk is free speech all the way. Anything goes. Am I correct on that? On X?
Yeah. So to answer that question, we have to go back a little bit in time. I mean, so first of all, I'd never thought about First Amendment issues, which may seem surprising, but I just assumed it was fine, right? Like we have a First Amendment of the Constitution, like nobody wants censorship. Like I'd never heard anybody advocate censorship. And then, I then got my book, Apocalypse Never, came out in 2020, and Facebook censored me. And they've maintained some sort of algorithm so that when I show up on YouTube, which is owned by Google, so I'm censored actually by Google, I should say, and Facebook. So when something comes up to me, I'll be talking about drug addiction on YouTube, and there'll be a little warning about being here, get accurate information on climate change, because there's some algorithm has me as a climate change denier, or some whatever it is. And I've tried to appeal it. There's no way to appeal. It's like a star chamber. It's all completely unjust, unfair. And I was very upset at the time. I think people don't realize, when you're censored, it feels so bad. You're so angry, and it feels really unfair. And almost like a kind of self-destructive anger I felt. And then that kind of went asleep for a while. I just kind of moved on, and I was like, I can't do anything about it, so move on. And then we were invited to do the Twitter files in December last year, and I've been working on censorship issues ever since. And yeah, I mean, I was just shocked to learn there's just a huge number of people, they're elites. It's not the people that bag your groceries or work at the gas station or work at the factory floor, it's not cops and nurses. It's people that work at universities. They work at think tanks. They work at news companies, and they want the social media companies to censor speech that they don't like, legal, permitted speech. And it's shocking. We owe Elon Musk a debt of gratitude, because we wouldn't have known about how much censorship there was if he had not opened up their files to us. He gave us pretty open access to the files. We were never denied any files. We uncovered a lot of censorship, a lot on different things. We also discovered these disinformation campaigns, the disinformation campaigns around Hunter Biden's laptop, around COVID. And it's not just Twitter, it was also Facebook. So then you get to the question of what is Elon's position. At first he would say, I'm a free speech absolutist. The US, which is the freest country in the world, even we're not free speech absolutists. We don't allow immediate incitement to violence. I can't get a bunch of friends and say, hey, let's all go kill that person. I can't threaten to kill somebody. That's illegal. I can't commit fraud. I can't use my words to lie to you, to commit fraud, to steal your money. And I'm also not allowed to engage in libel and defamation, although those is a very high bar. You're allowed to say terrible things about other people in the United States. It's very much protected. So very small limit. So nobody's technically a free speech absolutist, but I'm with him in spirit, which is that I think we should have very strong protections for free speech, much stronger than they have in Europe. Elon has also said that he wants to follow the local laws of different countries. That's been controversial because other countries engage in a lot more censorship. And so if you want X, formerly Twitter, to operate in Turkey, for example, he has to accept some amount of censorship. That's a case I know because I wrote on it and researched it. Elon was criticized for allowing the Turkish government to demand that certain people be taken off the platform. He did that. He complied with the law. I and others encouraged him to release to just be transparent about it. If you have to do censorship, it's better to be transparent because, like in the case I was describing with YouTube and Facebook, I don't even know the ways in which I'm being censored. And so it's a little crazy making. You kind of don't know. You can become paranoid. So at least you're transparent about, here's the censorship that we've done. Mostly, I think he's done a good job on it. I'm sure, I think there's, some cases that are on the line, but much better than Mark Zuckerberg at Facebook had done and others. But I think the short and long of it is that there's really like a shocking number of people in the United States of America today that want to see more censorship. They justify it in all sorts of ways. They say they're protecting people from harm. That's kind of what everybody says. But I don't really know if I mean, psychological harm, you know, people say terrible. I mean, you're a public figure and we're public figures. I mean, people say awful things. People have wished me death and all sorts of terrible things. I think they should have the right to do that. I don't think they should have the right to organize a mob to come to my house and threaten to kill me. Yeah. That's where I would draw the line. But pretty much beyond that, I think there should be freedom. And I mean, and the crazy thing about it is that we actually have to speak up for it, because I think there's so many people that really don't believe in free speech.
Yeah. You know, it's getting to be a tricky topic, I think. I mean, I am definitely pro First Amendment, pro freedom of speech. Man, though, there's I mean, so we're both somewhat in the truth space, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what you want to call it. There's a lot of weirdos in the truth space, is what I'm finding. I've had a couple show up here. Some of the interviews will never be released because I don't necessarily know if it's factual, and well, kind of where I'm going. So what I do here, I mean, a lot of people watch this. I mean, we hit the number 2 podcast in the world a couple months back.
Amazing. Congratulations.
Well, with that comes a lot of responsibility. And what I don't want to do is just bring everybody on and just, hey, let's hear what everybody has to say, because everybody thinks that just because I have somebody on that this is 100% factual information.
Right.
You know, and so the way I kind of try to navigate it is whatever the information that's being put out, is that going to affect somebody's decision-making process that could affect their life in a negative way? And so let's bring up the UFO whistleblowers. We got a ton of hate about that. Lots of hate. Whether those guys were telling the truth or whether they were lying, that's not going to affect anybody's decision-making process on the day-to-day. It's not going to affect medical decisions. It's not going to affect legal decisions. It's not going to affect financial decisions. You know, you can take that information and what are you going to do with it?
Right.
You either believe them or you don't, or maybe you're just in there for entertainment. I don't know. You know what I mean? But it's not going to affect anybody. When it comes to something like financial situations or medical stuff like COVID, I mean, with the vaccine, I mean, you're playing with people's, you're playing with people's well-being, especially if you have a reputable reputation like you, or, I mean, I think I have a pretty reputable reputation, you know, and so what I would hate to do is actually put out information that is infactual, you know, whether it goes along with my agenda or my beliefs or not. I don't want to manipulate the population into doing something that could potentially cause them harm, you know, on the day-to-day in their lives. And so, you know, it's a responsibility, you know, that I wish a lot more people, including the mainstream media, would take seriously.
Hey everybody, I'm Shawn Ryan. Click here to subscribe to the Shawn Ryan Show YouTube channel for the hottest and most compelling interviews that you will not see anywhere else. I've also made a playlist of all the previous SRS episodes so they're easy to find. You can find that right here.